I'm Bill James. My title is Deputy Assistant Secretary for Development and Operations, or DevOps, and I work here at the VA headquarters in downtown DC. Well, DevOps at the VA is new, and its importance is really kind of characterized by a three-legged stool. We had pillars before of hardware, IT operations, software development and maintenance, and then customers. And those three legs of the stool kind of were separate. But DevOps is bringing those three legs together in a DevOps environment so that we can more quickly deliver software and systems to the customers that need them. And then not only deliver it, but then operate it for its entire life cycle. So we're crafting a you build it, you own it, yippee-yo-y approach to our software, and so that we start and we finish with the software developers, we start and we finish with the folks that operate, and of course we always focus on the veteran as our customer, and of course those veterans who serve veterans in the VA, like doctors and nurses and benefits folks and that type of thing. In the VA, for Agile, we've always had what we call a veteran integrated approach to software development, and we've integrated Agile aspects into that software development lifecycle. So we've been working on kind of an Agile approach to software development and maintenance for a long time, ever since Laverne Council was here as our CIO in 2016. But what we've done lately with the DevOps is that we're beginning to look at new tool sets and new ways of accelerating our software development. So the new tools that people are using, GitHub and so forth, a year ago we wouldn't have thought of using GitHub, or it was just in a few places here and there. Just last week we had 1,000 people apply for GitHub training. So that's an example of the new tools that we're beginning to apply in this DevOps environment, which are going to make us much more performant and much more agile. And it's not only about software development, it's also about responding to problems when software goes down or when hardware breaks. You know, we have a 24/7 operation, and so we have folks watching our environment and bringing it up as quickly as they can, but in some cases they were stovepiped. We put an enterprise-wide system called ServiceNow into place where trouble tickets, if I have something break in Oregon and something break in Florida, we can now correlate those and look for trends. So we're getting much more responsive to outages when they happen, both hardware and software, and that's all part of the DevOps framework at the VA. So some of the challenges we see, I think every organization sees this, is number one, cultural. You know, we've been talking to a lot of the private sector companies and some of their federal agencies who are also engaging on this DevOps journey, and it's a different way of thinking. And in one word, I equate DevOps to empathy. So I want to care about you as a customer. I want to know you. I want to know your daily work life. I want to understand how I can help you be more productive. I want to deliver you a product that serves your needs and your workflows. Customer experience and the customer service is our number one goal. That's from the secretary. And in the IT, we can implement that through a DevOps environment with empathy as the kind of the North Star of our behaviors. And so that's why, you know, these stovepipes that existed previously and still exist, and we're transitioning now, where you get the requirements, you build the software, you maintain the software, you operate the software. When those things operate as silos, you lose the empathy with the customer because you're focused on your single job. When you have an integrated product team-like environment or a DevOps environment where you as a user and I as a software developer and my colleague as a hardware operator and the security guy is sitting there making sure it's all secure, when you're all thinking together and working together as a team, those silos get eliminated. Now that's a culture shift. We haven't done work like that in many cases, and so we're adopting that more and more often. A great example of that was the first day of rollout of our Mission Act. we had an application called Decision Support Tool. And that was an example of DevOps in action. We worked with Veterans Health Administration day by day, morning by morning, night by night, and we were truly thinking about what is the operational workflow, what kind of training is required for these doctors and nurses? How can we, from an IT perspective, make them more productive? And the phrase that we coined was shoulder to shoulder, kind of hashtag S2S, because that was an example of how when you work together and have a common framework and a common focus and a common passion for what you're trying to achieve, just all these stovepipes get eliminated and you can develop empathy and actually push a product out that everybody understands. So that was the number one thing, I think, the culture shift. The second thing is the idea of a minimally viable product. And the way we work in the government in many cases in projects, the idea is, hey, you need to have money, you need to have a schedule, kind of a waterfall approach that you say, I'm going to do everything you need in one box and I'm going to deliver the whole box to you. Well, that's not Agile. The Agile approach is a minimally viable product, and some people say, oh, minimally viable product means I don't get what I want, right? No. That's the first step. In the VA, in the OIT, we have hundreds of software applications. And so what we're doing is we're binning or categorizing those applications into portfolios, product portfolios. For example, health. The health portfolio has many applications inside of it. Kind of the first step is organizing and categorizing our applications into these portfolios. Okay. And then the thing is, well, every one of these applications has been built as a project. Right? You find the money, you start the project, you go build the code, you test it, and so forth. But once again, when you think about it, those are hundreds, in some cases thousands of individual projects that operate as individual projects. When you begin to turn your brain around, you think, well, this is really a product line that can be operated from a product perspective autonomously. So our health product line with all the pieces and parts in it, we can think about its own technical trajectory, going from Vista to Cerner, going from old phone systems to new phone systems that could do call forwarding and be much more responsive in a call center environment. So you can think about encapsulating the technology vectors inside that health portfolio, and then all of a sudden it dawns on you that you should measure your performance in that portfolio by your customers' metrics. So the health of a veteran, the kinds of metrics that our Veteran Health Administration offers, what are they worried about? All of a sudden, I can apply those outcomes to that portfolio, so their metrics become my metrics. That's the difference between project orientation and product orientation. I think most powerfully is that my customers' metrics become my metrics. I still have internal performance metrics and reliability and savings and infrastructure to manage, but I'm driven by their metrics as opposed to project metrics, cost, schedule, performance. Those are still important, but what is more important are what your customers are getting out of it.